Hey you guys. I think I'm live. My computer spins for a while it's thinking about going live. So I never really know for sure. But if you're here, say hi. I want to know how you're doing, how your Thursday's going, and let me know if you have any exciting plans for the holiday weekend. I'd love to hear about it. My exciting plans, um, some of you have heard me talk about the fact that my mom used to live with us. Well, she built a house right across the road from us, and we are landscaping this weekend. Yay! But it should be good. It'll be good to get that done. So I want to start out with here first. A date has been set for the next Empowered Challenge. I heard so many wonderful comments and amazing feedback about how the challenge helped you. I wish I could have added up all the weight. I should have. I should have just kept keeping track of what women messaged me of how much weight they lost. But it was amazing. Some women lost 4, 7, 10 pounds even. That's pretty awesome. So I'm really excited for the next challenge. July 19th, you guys. That's when we're going to kick off the next challenge. Okay. Also, let me clear up a little confusion about last week's live, okay? I had told you not to eat when you're not hungry due to fear. And that's the key part right there, due to fear, okay? And this is an example I want to give. Don't eat an extra big supper tonight because you're afraid you won't have time for breakfast in the morning. Or don't eat a snack as you rush out the door because you're going to have supper late and you're worried about feeling hungry. Okay? Did you hear the key terms there? Afraid and worried. Now, eating ahead of time when you're not fully hungry because you're going to a party and you've made up your mind that you're not going to have their food there. So you're going to eat now because you know your body will need the fuel. That's different. You're not doing that out of fear. You're doing that out of a conscious decision that you already know how much fuel your body needs. And this is how you're going to fuel it. Okay, that's a very different situation. That situation, you are using intention. And you're using that prefrontal cortex that I talk about all the time to really make good decisions for yourself ahead of time. Okay, and you're making a decision out of the best case scenario, not the worst case scenario. That right there might be really helpful for all of you. If you are making food choices based on the worst case scenario, you probably shouldn't be making them. All right? So I hope that cleared up some confusion around that from last week. Let me know if you guys have any more questions about that. Okay. Let's dive into today's topic. Okay? Realistic expectations and building trust in yourself to build self-confidence. And we're going to be talking about overwhelm, which is one of the key reasons I find a lot of my clients eat other than for fuel. Okay? Remember from the challenge, it's not what you eat, but why you eat. And really God created food just for fuel, but we eat for so many other reasons other than fuel. And one of them is overwhelm. Okay? Some of you maybe have already read the blog post from this week. If not, I'll post the link below, but this goes very much along with that blog post. But what I want to kind of take away from the blog post and bring here to today's live is a lot of women come to me with a laundry list of things they're going to change right now. They're going to drink 50 or more ounces of water a day, or 50 more ounces of water daily. Like they're already drinking like 40, they want to get at least to 90, 100. They're going to do that, and they're going to exercise 30 minutes 5 times a week, cut out all snacks, and along with that, they're going to cut out the sugar. That's what they tell me. And right now, they're not even close to doing any of those things. But that's what they want to start with. And this is where I usually have to rein them in and be like, all right, guys, this isn't realistic. Okay? And eventually we can get you there, but right now we can't do all that at once. But I understand how they feel. They want that quick win. They want to lose weight quickly. But the tough part about that, when we're trying to just lose weight quickly so we can feel better about ourselves, that isn't sustainable. And you guys, it's just plain overwhelming. And when we're overwhelmed, that doesn't feel good to us. It doesn't feel good in our bodies. So what do? We eat. Which just makes us feel more overwhelmed in the long run, which is crazy, right? We just get on this hamster wheel and keep rolling with it. So that's why a lot of women eat, is because of overwhelm. Overwhelm doesn't feel good in our bodies, and we're not really meant to feel overwhelmed. And what they don't realize is they've been doing this for so long, they don't recognize they're overwhelmed, and they think something else is going on. It's not because they have too much to do. They've always had this much to do. But that's the problem. You've always had this much to do, and you've been in this constant state of overwhelm, and that's why you keep gaining the weight. Okay? And so what I often do with my clients is we start going through all the expectations that they have of themselves. And what they realize is they don't really like all the expectations they've put on themselves. And they're downright perfectionistic. And that's a hard pill for some of them to swallow, because they never thought of themselves as a perfectionist. And you don't even have to call yourself that label. If you're overwhelmed, you might just still have a lot of expectations of yourself, okay? But once we really work on that and start making realistic expectations, and they follow through on those realistic expectations, they start building trust with themselves and gaining confidence and having these small wins that make them want to keep going, that provide this moment. And they realize that, hey, God actually does want this for me. I was just making it way too complicated. So let me give you kind of a little example of how this all works. How making realistic expectation of yourself can really build confidence, okay? I want you to think about when you meet a new friend or someone you would like to be friends with, and you start making commitments to them. I.e., just like you would make a commitment to yourself when you're just starting out on something, okay? But the first commitments you start to make with them are small, like a small coffee date or chatting over the phone, right? They're not a huge commitment. And when you keep following through on those commitments with this friend you want to make, your friend starts to trust you. They realize when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And then they might start asking you for bigger commitments, like watching the kids, going away for a weekend together, doing some shopping, or a girls' weekend, whatever it may be, or helping them with a project. And then they build more confidence with you as a friend, and then they start becoming good friends with you, maybe even a best friend. And here's the deal. If you break a commitment once to them, after you've built this relationship with them of trust, they're okay with it, and they move on because you've built that trust and confidence. And it doesn't end up ruining the relationship. And it's from this place of trust, you have this sense of peace and support and a reliance and security, right? Okay. This is the same that goes with self-confidence. Okay? This analogy can be tied so very closely. Start treating yourself like you would start treating a new friend. Make some small commitments to yourself. Ones that you know you can follow through on. Build that trust with yourself. Make reasonable expectations or commitments to yourself. Like those small ones at first, and then start building. Follow through on them. Work your way up to much larger commitments to yourself. Because even if you can't completely follow through on those larger commitments right at the beginning, that's okay. You've already built this trust, and you know you're going to get there. And you don't start spiraling down the tube of self-sabotage. Okay? This is important, you guys, because I spend a lot of time with my clients dialing back these expectations. Because I want you to really think of what God expects of you. I mean, really, take the time today and think, what does God really expect of me? And what am I just telling myself that I think the world expects of me? Because they're going to be two very different things, okay? And here's the deal. When you start dialing back those expectations, you start dialing back the overwhelm, and the process isn't so hard anymore, and it's actually kind of enjoyable to lose weight. And you feel so much better. So if you're feeling better, you're going to act better. Instead of the other way around at the beginning, when we're trying to act all these different ways to eventually feel better. And that's where we get overwhelmed. Okay? If you want more, I'll share the blog post with you and the post that I posted, I believe it was last night, from my Facebook page on how to follow through. I have some tips on how to follow through and talking about just realistic expectations, so you can start building this self-confidence in yourself, okay? And I want you to really think about the commitments you're making and how realistic they are, okay? So check that out. But before you leave, I want you to comment with what's one reasonable commitment you want to make to yourself next week after the holiday. Please share, okay? I think we all learn so much better when we share with one another where we're at and what we're working on. And it provides a little accountability for you guys, okay? All right, guys, I'm excited to read all your comments, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.